I call this meeting of the Planning Commission to order. It is not 7:06. The date is September the 8th, 2021. And if everybody would please rise. Chuck, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. Everybody, please, you can be seated. Mike, will you do the roll call?
Is he
Mike.
muted?
Try it again.
Hey, Paul?
I know, I'm sorry. I thought I made it. I missed it. Okay, Joe Palmer,
He's here.
Kevin Kissel.
There.
Is Grazak excused? Or absent?
I haven't heard anything. Liz, have you heard anything on Jerry?
I believe
Okay.
that John talked to him this week and so he would be excused.
Okay, he's excused.
Arturo is absent, I assume.
Yep,
Mhm.
Michael Horvath is here. Charles Persing is here.
Yep.
Russ Laduca. Did he make it
He
in
will
yet?
be.
And I know
He's
Tracy
on his
came
way.
in, so
okay. Well, we have the approval for the previous minutes. Does anybody have a chance to review them?
I had a chance to look at them. They look wonderful. I say we present and put them on file the way they are.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the minutes. Anybody
second.
support? Okay, we have a
I'll support.
motion. Okay, we have a motion and a support.
oh, is that Palmer supported?
That was Palmer.
Yes,
support,
sir.
Yeah.
Making sure. It kind of broke up a little. Okay,
Uh, Call the roll?
okay, Palmer, well, let's see. So Palmer,
Yes.
Kissel,
Yes.
and I say yes, and Persinger,
Yes.
and LaDuca ain't here yet, and Tracy Dupre.
Yes.
So it is approved as recorded.
Okay. Next is the approval of the agenda. Everybody, everybody want to make a motion to accept the agenda as printed?
I say
move.
we accept the go ahead, Tracy.
I'll move this for that.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a support?
I'll support.
Chuck supports. Mike, call the roll?
Palmer,
Yes.
Kissel,
Yes.
I say yes, Persinger,
Yes.
and LaDuca ain't here yet, so Tracy, I'm assuming you say yes too.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, we'll move
Yeah,
on to
there.
old business. A under old business would be a site plan review for 881 Southfield Auto Sales. What you got, Liz?
Okay, I assume you're all seeing my screen okay? Take that as a yes. So you all recall that you saw this last month, but since that time, we've received new information and could therefore bring it back. So this is a proposed use of auto sales to an existing auto repair facility. The auto repair will occupy the west side of the building and the auto sales will occupy the east. Last time it was unclear. It was presented as two separate uses essentially, but the auto repair facility will be exclusively related to the auto sales use, meaning that the repair use is exclusively for cars that will be sold at the property. This is different than what was presented previously, which was a site with two unrelated uses, auto repair and auto sales. So as As we discussed last time, the existing auto repair does not meet the standards of 1294.14, which governs automotive service stations, repair centers, and public garages. This review treats the existing operation as legal non-conforming, and it evaluates only the proposed addition of the sales use. It specifically does not grant special land use approval to the automotive repair use. So the site is located on Southfield Road, and with Wilson Avenue to the west. There's a sidewalk along Wilson, but currently no sidewalk along Southfield. The future land use classification is general commercial, and the proposed auto sales and repair facility is consistent with that designation. The site is zoned municipal business district, and the proposed auto sales and auto repair facility are permitted after special approval. The site plan documents that were used are listed on the screen. Now into the standards. For dimensional standards, the existing site meets all the standards except for lot coverage. It varies, minimally exceeds the permitted lot coverage, but does not increase it. Because it's an existing site, there's nothing to be addressed here. For building design, the existing building does not quite meet the building materials and transparency, but they may be preserved as long as the nonconformity is not increased. The proposal does not include changes to the building facade, and the city has historically permitted the existing conditions to remain, so nothing to be addressed here. Preservation of natural features, there are no natural features to preserve. Sidewalks, pedestrian, and bicycle circulation. So as we discussed last month, the site has a 5-foot concrete sidewalk along Wilson, and then an 8-foot asphalt boulevard with few to no curbs. And then the sidewalk discontinues in front of the building on Southfield and then reappears at the far east side of the property. The applicant is proposing to add a sidewalk where it discontinues along Southfield. And also one of the conditions of approval is that all cars that are currently parked in the sidewalk area must be removed. And there's a photo of existing conditions in the report. So items to be addressed here are that the applicant needs to ensure that the existing and new concrete sidewalks are brought up to city standards. Applicant must provide details and cross sections of the proposed sidewalk at the time of detailed engineering review, and ensure that no cars will be parked on the proposed sidewalk, from the proposed sidewalk to the road. For parking, this section differs from with the new information that we have this time, because it's not two separate uses. There's only one parking requirement for automobile and truck sales with automotive sales or automotive service and or repair facilities. So with those requirements, there is a total of 8 spaces required, and the applicant has proposed 6 spaces. The parking area B standards are generally met. Just that the site is proposing 6 spaces along with 4 on-street parking spaces along Wilson and then 1 on-street parking space along Southfield. The proposed use requires 8 spaces, and the Planning Commission has the power to waive this requirement based on evidence of lower demand. So in terms of items to be addressed, the waiver is requested from the Planning Commission to reduce the number of required parking spaces from 8 to 6. Factors for consideration are size constraints of the site and the availability of on-street parking. Need to replace the existing asphalt and bring all parking areas up to city standards, and then provide those pavement details at the time of detailed engineering review. For barrier-free access, there is one shown on the site plan, but it's not the required 12 feet in width, so that just needs to be slightly adjusted. For loading, for this size of building, there is no loading space required, but the applicant has proposed a loading area in the alley if necessary. For access driveways and vehicular circulation, this is an existing site with existing driveways, so some of these standards are not met, meaning the width, radius, and number. But because they're existing And there's work proposed in the eastern Southfield driveway. It is redeveloping an existing site. The Planning Commission has the authority to apply the standards to the maximum extent possible if it determines that compliance with all the standards of the section is unreasonable. For emergency vehicle access, there's access via Southfield Road and Wilson, and the Lincoln Park Police Department has reviewed the plan and indicates no outstanding issues. There are no new streets proposed for the site. For landscaping, screening, and open space, with the 30% redevelopment standard, the proposal almost meets the requirements. The applicant has proposed to add 4 trees, which meets the 30% redevelopment standard, but there is not enough space to add the required shrubs as well. So a waiver is requested from the Planning Commission for relief from the 10-foot required green belt. The green belt along Southfield will be 9.5 feet instead of 10, and Wilson is 8 feet. And then for the shrub landscaping requirements. The number of street trees have been provided, and the site size and existing site features prevent the provision of the 7 required shrubs as well. Soil erosion control is under the jurisdiction of Wayne County. For utilities, we have the standard conditions from the engineer listed here. Stormwater management is also under the jurisdiction of Wayne County. For lighting, the plans show 2 outdoor light fixtures with shields, one on the left side of elevation, and then one facing Wilson Avenue, and the existing lighting appears to be shielded and downward facing. No indication of adverse noise impacts. There is no mechanical equipment visible from the right-of-way. Signs will be addressed during the building department review. Hazardous materials or waste. The proposed use is expected to generate some quantity of hazardous materials or waste. The site plan notes that the applicant will provide primary and secondary containers inside the building for storage of removed vehicle fluids, and also provide documentation of compliance with state and federal standards for storage, use, handling, and disposal. There are no site design standards for uses permitted after special approval for auto sales. And other agency reviews, the work in the Southfield right-of-way will require permits from the Wayne County Road Commission, and then any other applicable appropriate agency reviews as needed. And finally, there are no variances in conjunction with this request. So findings, the information submitted with this proposal is substantially in compliance with the site plan review section of the ordinance. There are 2 waivers requested, one for parking from 8 spaces to 6, and then one for the landscaping with the green belt, and then the shrub requirement. And we have 1 condition before an approval letter would be issued, and then our the standard conditions of approval. That is all I have. I know the applicant is on, he should be able to answer any additional questions that you have, and I am also happy to answer questions.
If I may,
Tracy, was that
yeah,
you?
to the chair, please.
Go ahead.
Liz, does it actually say, and maybe I heard it wrong, that the repair shop is only working on the dealership cars? Or is that's a, they have an ongoing repair shop, this will just include the dealership cars? I'm not sure which.
Yes, and the applicant clarified.
Liz, do you want me to answer that?
In the time after the last meeting, but the repair use will only be in conjunction with the auto sales use. So it'll only be
Okay. I'm sorry.
be used in pertaining to the cars that will be for sale.
Okay, thank you. And I believe the gentleman was going to speak as well. I'm sorry, sir, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's it's 2 o'clock in the morning where I am right now. Probably my voice is a little bit cracky.
Who are you? And please
I'm
tell
sorry?
us who you are and introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Yasser Mahmoud. I am the owner of the building and the future owner of the business. Like Liz said, the mechanic shop used only for repairs on the cars that be sold as at the dealership, not for public.
Okay.
Okay.
Does anybody have any further questions for Liz before we go on
I
to the,
do, I
okay,
do, Mr. Chairman.
go ahead, Mr. Palmer.
Liz, on that green belt, is that the 9.5 feet that we're proposing to give a variance for off of Southfield? And then they're gonna put a sidewalk in? Is that the area we're talking about?
Yes, the plans show that they will have a 9.5-foot green belt that'll be grass and then sidewalk and then the display area. So it's just
So I'm sorry,
the Southfield Road waiver would be just for 1/2 foot. And then Wilson is 8 feet, so the waiver would be for 2 feet.
is there a way that you can pull up that with the red cars sitting real close to Southfield and all the cars up against the building, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Try not to make you dizzy as I do this. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. So the green belt would go,
See
Right.
where the red car is?
yes.
Is that the proposed green belt, then a sidewalk, and then all the
Yes,
vehicles that are parked there will not be able to park there, correct?
correct.
Now, is it a driveway coming up by the red? I apologize, I never got a chance to drive by, or is that a curb?
I believe at that point it is a curb.
Okay, so where the red car is, we want to put a 9-10 foot green belt there, then a 5 foot sidewalk.
Mhm.
And then what's the proposal from Mr. Mahmood to do where those cars are parked? What, 5 or 6 cars on the right there? What's he gonna do with that space?
That space will be for the display of cars, but will be facing Wilson. They'll be pulling in from Wilson, pulling out from Wilson.
So how are you gonna pull them onto that parking area? Drive on the
There is-
grass to come across?
No, there is an entrance from Wilson. There's a wide entrance from Wilson that we could pull in.
Shall I show the site plan?
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions for Liz?
Hold on, just gonna show us the site plan here.
Yeah, showing the site plan right now.
No. Okay. So this up top is Southfield, and then over here to the left is Wilson. So it
Okay.
appears as though there will be a one-way entrance off of Wilson to park the display cars here, and then a one-way out on Southfield.
So
Okay.
over by the left side on Wilson, that's proposed parking there too, correct?
Just on the opposite side of Wilson.
Okay, so right next to the property where it says sign posted one way, that's where that's a driveway there, an approach?
That is the existing drive.
Okay. Thank you, Liz, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Is John Myers. The drawing
Good, John.
indicates that the parking on the side opposite of Wilson is actually street parking.
Yes,
And it is not qualified to be on their property or measurement of cars being allowed to be parked there for sale because it's a public street.
correct. The on-street parking does not count at all toward any of the parking requirements.
I just want to make that clear as we just had that conversation.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, any other questions? Any questions for the applicant? Any questions for the applicant? Applicant, would you like to say anything?
Now's the time to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Mahmood,
Yes.
Would you like to speak?
I mean, like I said, it's 2 o'clock in the morning here. I'm a little bit off time, but
I understand.
I mean, we're hoping by approving this will make a good use of the facility. Trying to use it for something else that not work economically for anybody. I don't know why, but I'm trying to make a good use out of it. We put a lot of money fixing the facility since we got it, and we assure you that we will be a very good business owner and add to the area. So we'll do whatever it takes to make sure this transaction goes well and make sure that the city and the citizens of Lincoln Park are very happy with our existence there.
Thank you.
You're
Are there
welcome.
any questions for him?
I have another question.
Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, so we show on Wilson where the cars will go and be displayed, parked. Where will the employees park? Will they be going in the alley behind the building around to those spaces? Because,
No, there is an entrance on Southfield for another parking lot. That's where the mouse is, and that's where they go in. There's a parking lot over there for the building.
okay,
I
okay,
see
so
it.
they get on off of Southfield, but not the main drive, which is one way,
Right.
correct?
That entrance to the building is 2 ways, in and out.
Okay. I thought it was one in and one out, but okay, I get it now.
Yeah, that's for the display. There is one in and one out. For the
Mhm.
customers and the employees, there is a big parking lot in and out.
Okay, great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, anybody else with any other questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask a question.
Go ahead, John.
Can you define for me who's using the shop at the moment?
Do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
We had a tenant and he left a while ago, and he left under the understanding of both of us that we're not gonna be using it as a mechanic for the public anymore.
So it's not being used at all at this moment?
And it's not being used at all. Sometimes you'll see right now, sometimes you'll see maybe a tow truck for somebody asked me to park the tow truck over there until we move ahead with our plans to do our business plan. Then he's no longer be there.
It would be advised from my chair to your office, wherever you are, to not allow that to happen.
Will do.
Because in the last couple of weeks, whoever is using that lot for you is parking non-registered and non-tagged vehicles, not only on your lot, but also on the street sidewalks.
No, we'll definitely. I'm overseas right now, but I'll make the phone calls for them not to use it anymore. He was asked for a favor, but that favor will stop tonight.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If there are no more questions, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the recommendation.
Okay. Do we have a support?
I'll support it.
We have a motion and support to accept Liz's recommendation. Any questions on that? Mike, call the roll.
Palmer,
No,
Kissel,
Yes.
Yes.
Horvath, yes. Persinger
Yes,
and Dupre.
Yes,
I'm assuming Russ didn't come yet, right?
Ross is here?
Yeah, yes,
Oh, okay, Ross.
Yeah.
What's his vote?
yes. Get in here.
Okay,
Russ votes yes, so that passed. So congratulations, sir. We'll
Thank you.
go
I
on to the
appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
We'll go on to the next, is a public hearing for 881
I know.
Southfield. So we will close the regular meeting at 7:30, reopen at 7:31 for the public hearing. Anybody here have anything to say regarding 881 Southfield. That's public.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public here? Going once, going twice, going 3 times, gone. We'll close the regular meet, we'll close the special, the public hearing at 7:32. Reopen the regular session at 7:33. And move on to the special land use for 881 Southfield. Liz? Boy, I wish we could meet in person.
Okay.
Be both.
Okay, so the special land use request is for the same property, but specifically for the auto sales use. I'll go through the criteria for review. The special use will promote the use of land in a socially and economically desirable manner for persons who will use the proposed land use or activity, for landowners and residents who are adjacent thereto, and for the city as a whole. The condition is met. The special use is compatible and in accordance with the goals, objectives, and policies of the city's comprehensive development plan. The future land use classification is general commercial, and the proposed use is consistent with that designation. The special use is necessary for the public convenience at that location. The special use is compatible with adjacent uses of land and can be constructed, operated, and maintained so as to continue to be compatible with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity. The proposal will improve landscaping and screening on the site, protecting residential properties on the other side of the alley, and it is compatible with adjacent commercial uses. Special use is so designed, located, and proposed to be operated that the public health, safety, and welfare will be protected. The proposal will improve landscaping, screening, and access on the site. Special use can be adequately served by public services and facilities without diminishing or adversely affecting public services and facilities to existing land uses in the area. Special use will not cause injury to the value of other property in the neighborhood in which it is to be located. The special use will protect the natural environment, help conserve natural resources and energy, and will not involve uses, activities, processes, materials, and equipment or conditions of operation that will be detrimental to the natural environment, public health, safety, or welfare by reason of excessive production of traffic, noise, smoke, odors, or other such nuisance. The proposal does not necessarily protect the natural environment. However, it does provide landscaping on the site where there was previously none. So this condition is partially met. Special uses within the provisions of uses requiring special approval as set forth in various zoning districts is in harmony with the purposes and conforms to the applicable regulations of the zoning district in which it is located. There are no specific standards for auto sales, so this condition is met. And finally, the special use is related to the valid exercise of the city's police power and purposes which are affected by the proposed use or activity. This condition is met.
Okay. Any questions for Liz on this? Anybody got questions for Liz? Then I'll entertain a motion as written here. Anybody want to make the motion to allow the special land use?
I'll make
I'll
it.
make a motion. Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
Tracy made the motion. Chuck, you gonna support it?
I'll support it.
Okay. We have a motion and support. Any discussion on that motion? Mike, call the roll.
Palmer,
No.
Kissel,
Yes.
Horvath said yes. Persinger,
Yes.
Loduca,
Yes.
and Dupre.
Yes.
And special land use is approved. We'll go on to the next order of business, which I think is new business. New business is planning commission members removal. Liz, or you gonna handle this, or is John?
I'm gonna let John take the lead on this one.
Go ahead, John.
We have submitted our letters to two of the planning commission members whose date have not expired. One being Ms. Hill and the other being Ontario. And I have talked with Jerry, and he's requested that he be removed as well for his health. So we have now.
So sorry.
We have now officially done all the legal actions to remove 3 of the members from the planning commission. And so we need to now take this next action and getting confirmation and approval from the council.
Okay, do we need to pass something for them to give approval?
Yes, you need a recommendation to the council for removal of these 3 members.
I'll make said motion.
I support.
We have a motion of support for the 3 members to be removed.
And that's Briones,
Hill.
Grazak,
And Grazak.
and
And
Hill.
Hill.
Okay, I got them noted. All right. So do you like me to call the roll?
Just a second. Any discussion on it?
Is
Go
there
ahead,
any,
Paul. Well, go ahead, Chuck.
I know in the past when commissioners stepped down for whatever reason, that were commissioners in good faith, some sort of effort was made for council to honor them some way. Is there some way we can do something for Gerald?
I think we should figure, if we can do something for Jerry, we should. John, do you know of anything we can do to honor Jerry for his long time of service? Because he's been on this commission
I'll do
about
it.
20 years.
I'll do the history and then I will make a recommendation to council. And as they make that dismissal, then they can officially take that to a council meeting and give him credits and props. I'll make that
Okay.
Thank you, John.
document
That'd be
available to
wonderful.
council.
Thank you,
That'd
John.
be wonderful.
And if we can be notified, so at least we can be on the Zoom call or for the meeting or whatever.
I'll make sure that happens as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so go ahead, Mike, and take the roll.
Palmer,
Yes.
Kissel,
Yes.
Horvath, yes. Persinger,
Yes,
LaDuca,
Yes.
and Dupre.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Go ahead. Do I need to come in and sign anything, John, or?
I will bring it to you. I'll
Okay,
drop it off at your house and you can sign it off and then bring it back to me.
okay. Sounds like a winner. Policy review and discussion. We got anything? Education and training. Liz?
So the September planning report, just of interest is the census 2020 data came in. There are some just highlights listed here about population in Michigan that you might find interesting. I won't go through it here, but that's pretty interesting. The second thing was about a septic code, which doesn't apply to Lincoln Park. Congress for New Urbanism is exploring the concept of central social districts, which are like areas in a city where people, there could be alcohol or, public spaces with restaurants. It's just sort of an idea that's sort of emerged with COVID and more outdoor dining options. And
Hey,
then-
Liz,
Yes,
I'm sorry to cut you off. Is my business done here? I'm sorry.
yes, you are done.
We are approved and thank you guys very much.
You're welcome welcome to Lincoln Park.
And
Thank
good
you, I
night.
appreciate it.
Sleep
Thank you.
tight.
I will. Thanks. Bye.
And then finally, for training and education, the big one is the Michigan Association of Planning Conference. It happens every fall. It's at the end of October this year. It's virtual again. So the information is on here if you are interested. So that is all for September.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, can
go
I,
ahead, John.
if I could recommend, and if anybody does have time, even for part of the municipal planning conference, it would benefit us as a commission to have one or two attend, knowing that this has been a pandemic 14 to 16 months. A lot has changed in business and business strategy. And so some of the information that we'll be gathering in this conference would be paramount to where I believe the city will be asking you as planning commission members to consider zoning verifications, zoning changes, and the way we will do business in going into the future. And so they'll be talking in this conference at times towards the things that are coming into the future. And as I look at the city, I'm quite confident Liz would be, I think, as well, to let you know that when it comes to everything from e-commerce to rezoning some of the issues and directions in the cities after projected road studies such as Southfield road studies going to be taking place between 3 cities. This committee will be asked to evaluate new zoning guidelines for the city or partial zoning guidelines for the city. And the conference might be very educational for several of us to attend and be more knowledgeable to things that other places and other cities of like size or different sizes may be thinking about doing to accommodate the next level of business in the future. So this would be maybe you don't do it every year, maybe you don't do it, and maybe you've never done one. But knowing where we've been in the last 18 months and where we'll be going and where the city needs to let us take them, we have a viable piece. We have a really crucial piece in all the proceeds. The council will always review only what the planning commission brings to the table as a resolution. And so as you are asked to consider changing some of our zoning resolutions or zoning guidelines, and I can think of several. We've already talked about one a couple of meetings ago in e-commerce. We're talking about possibly changing some of our districts, such as neighborhood district. And we are talking about what it would be like for businesses to modify administrative control versus planning commissions for all the mapping. So those are all your responsibilities to give a strong recommendation for the vision of the city in the subject of zoning. And so this conference, if you have the time, what might be really valuable just to sit in the window and listen to what education they're bringing you. That would be my support to this conference, where I may not have supported it over the last 4 years. The last 18 months, we've made some real changes in our country, our world, and our city. And you guys and ladies have a very, very crucial position as the council needs to make plans and decisions for the future. They'll come through your commission. So I'd advise growing your education in the days ahead.
Okay, John, can you give me some information regarding this conference in hard copy?
I will. I'll make sure that Liz and I have that to you, and we'll deliver it to your house.
Okay. Thank you. We have reports from departments and other boards and commissions.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to report on the dangerous building board
Go
meeting
ahead.
that we have tomorrow.
Go ahead, Joe.
As Lincoln Park residents, this is a historical moment for the city of Lincoln Park tomorrow. As you know, it's the Dangerous Building Board and Board of Appeals. And we have our first appeal tomorrow from a rental owner. It's historical, so if you guys could be part of this, it would be awesome for you guys to be attending it. On that note, hopefully we have a quorum. We had to postpone it because we did not have a quorum. So I'm gonna reach out to you fellow council members that we are looking hopefully for another mechanical and plumbing licensed contractor to be part of that board. And it's kind of embarrassing, which Kevin and I know all these years, when we don't have a quorum, you know, we all
Yep.
have times in our lives that we need to do things, but we're devoted to what we do. So if you guys know a mechanical and or a plumbing contractor, we could really use somebody, you know, toward that board. Mr. Myers will be able to go in a little bit further what's going on tomorrow if he'd like. If not, hopefully you can attend. John, did you want to
Yes.
say anything?
This is the first time we've been appealed. I was requested to have a virtual inspection on a piece of property. They did not approve of the rulings of my violations. And since I was since I was the building official, there was no appeal to me. So they had no choice. If they wanted to appeal any of the rulings and we could not come to a mutual agreement, then they had to go to the Construction Code of Appeals, which council, if you remember, about a year ago, we finalized all the bylaws and contractual issues with that document, which we didn't have in place. And so interesting enough, this gentleman felt that the violations were egregious enough that he disagreed with them and wants a hearing to turn them over. And so tomorrow, as far as I know, I've gone back through the history for at least 25 years. There's no indication that anybody has filed a Construction Code of Appeals hearing with the city of Lincoln Park until this one, and it will take place hopefully tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Anything else on that topic? Anybody got public comments? Miss Lillian,
Thank you, Chairman.
you're
If-
welcome.
If I could, I'm
Go
just
ahead.
curious because there are things that have come up before council. So now that we've got eyes on this property on Southfield, what does the alley there look like?
Terrible.
Oh,
Now that we've approved the request for him, I will submit with Liz's request, with Liz's documentation of this owner. I will give him 14 days to remove all the buildings and now all the property and all the debris and all the vehicles from that premise on the exterior in 14 days. Because he's claimed on this hearing, and it's in our minutes now, that there is no business operating in that building at this present time. There cannot be any business operating until a C of O has been met. And so if that is the case, then every vehicle and every debris, set of tires, every tool, every broke down item in the alley or in the side lot must be removed. And we can clear it and wait for them to make preparations for a completion of a CFO so they can open their building officially. But what will happen next will be, I will request a 14-day window for them to remove every vehicle off the premise and not have one on it again on the outside until there is a C of O inspection and approval.
Very good.
did I, and I may have missed this because I was a little sidetracked in the beginning of the plan review. But what is he doing for his rubbish?
He has a dumpster and it will have to be installed in the back empty part of the lot. That is presently a gated parking lot. Because it's gonna be for public, it won't be able to be gated because there won't be any parking there for storage of show cars because he's designed the east side of the building in his display as customers and employees. So on that space, he will put a dumpster for his garbage and his mechanical work.
Okay, so it is on his property and not in the alley or,
That is correct. It will need to be
Okay.
on his property.
okay. And lastly, what separates him from the homes, the neighborhood? Is it a wall? Is it a,
No, it is only the alley. He has a gate, a metal gate that is about 28 feet across the back of his parking lot on the east side. But the property that on that Southfield side of the road butts right up against, all the way down the street. It butts up right against the alley. So there isn't a parking lot between the alley and the building. The building is the wall that separates the alley.
okay. They have, I'm just out of curiosity here. That's where the cars are gonna be, is not gonna be fenced in?
No, the cars that he wants to have show cars will either be stored inside or in the 4 lots in front of the building.
Okay,
Or parking spaces, yeah.
okay, that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Myers.
You're most welcome.
Anybody else have any other public comments? Then we'll go on to comments from planning commissioners. Anybody have anything to say? Would nobody have anything to say?
No, Tracy's trying to say something. She's just muted.
I'm sorry, I was muted. If I may, please, a
ahead.
question. John, the question is for you. I do believe last night was it last night? I don't even remember now. An update on Taco Bell. You had said that they're moving forward now. Is that correct?
They are, I'm scheduled, I have a confirmation of a pre-construction meeting with John Kazoo and James Hollingwood from Hennessy. I believe that's actually this Friday. Once that meeting is done, we will add our instructions to first the utilities from Hennessy and the county road. And then they will schedule permits for us. And then I'm going to make the assumption that you'll see a hole in the ground within the next 30 days because they're trying to get it started before it gets too cold.
Great,
Cool.
thank you.
Anything else from the commissioners? Mike,
Nope.
Chuck,
No, not today.
Joe,
I'm good, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Russ?
Nothing to say.
Oh, that's good. I got nothing to say other than to everybody, Saturday is the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Please keep their families of those that were lost that day in your prayers.
No, that's something came up at work about volunteering to help clean up the National Cemetery by Holly, and I get a paid day off to go do it in honor of those from 9/11. Yeah, that's so sad what happened that
Yep.
day.
So keep them in your prayers and
20
in your
years.
thoughts. And until we meet again in October, hopefully one of these days it'll actually be in person.
May we have power and no flooding.
Yep. Anybody gonna make a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion.
I made a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion.
A
We have a
second, Leduca second.
Leduca supports. All
Support.
those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yay!
Opposed say nay. Motion
around.
carried. Everybody have a great night and a great weekend and
He's a young guy.
hopefully a great week ahead.
Hey, John,
Thank you, you as well.
John,
Yes,
I'll drop off the minutes. That's been working out. Dropping off the paper minutes in the building department,
that
okay?
would be greatly appreciated. And Liz, you're gonna send this video
Let's see, it
Recording.
is 7:50.
I'll send it tomorrow.
and send me the owner's information of 819. Thank you.
Yeah, I will with the
Thank you.
planning letter.
Very good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.